That is the sound of the toilet cistern refilling. Welcome back. This is the intro song because I no longer pay for licensed music, so this is free. Just had a bath, actually. It's very nice, but now hot. I feel like I could throw up because I'm hot. So now I'm going to put on my comfies. Oh my god, look at this. I got one of these Oodie snooty things. I don't know what you call them. It's a Harry Potter one. I mean, I don't know why I'm smelling it. It doesn't really smell anything. But it's really comfy and I'm going to put it on now. I'm going to precariously balance the phone. Oh, this is not good. It's been a long time since I've made videos. It's pumpkin spice. We'll see. Because I am a twat who uses like sustainable and, natural cosmetics products. I don't put unnatural things onto my body as much as I can help it because I'm that guy. I mean, who isn't that person in 2021? Is it 2022? That's the year it is. Yeah, who isn't that person who's using all this sustainable bollocks? Which I'm convinced that I am so swept up in it all, and I'm like, sustainable, and I want to be this, I want to be that, but like, I am convinced in my heart of hearts that actually it's all nonsense, and it's just as unsustainable as everything else. I believe in the natural side of things, possibly, that there are more natural products that you could be putting on your body compared to like unnatural things. But the packaging is like, it's compostable, or it's like recyclable, and la 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 la, and I'm like, well, compost is still decomposition or fermentation and all that sort of jazz. Maybe. I don't know what I'm talking about. But, like, doesn't that, like, still produce, like, toxic fumes that kill the ozone layer or something like that? Yeah, I just can't win, basically. We've destroyed the planet with our very existence, and we just have to accept that. But I am willing to... Oh, sorry, how burped. That's disgusting. But I am willing to do things that improve things. Did you all enjoy that angle of that last shot? Like, can you believe that I am a videographer, like, for a living? Like, that's my job. Putting you down. I'm just putting on the giant hoodie. I'm a videographer for a living, and this is the quality of content that I'm giving you. I'm giving it to you. Look at it. It's so big. It's like mega hoodie. It's obviously not a hoodie. It's a snuddy or whatever. Look, check it out. Look. Oh my god, look. It's so big, and it's like soft and furry inside. Like, look. Ooh. And it's got like a nice big hood on it. Fancy. Basically, what's happening is that this doesn't happen that often, but Ryan is out at like a work thing this evening, so I'm home alone. And basically, I've taken this as the time to reinstate making nonsense videos where I talk to people and tell them about my life because I've decided that people care. So this video, God knows how long it's going to be because, I mean, I've got things to say. That sounds really serious. It's not. It's also the point. This is an angle, isn't it? I bet you like this. It's real good. Look at my candle. This candle, put my hand in it for size, cost £12. I think what's also quite amusing is that I'm saying I've taken this as the moment to reinstate making my nonsense kind of videos, but we all know for a fact I'm going to make this one and go, I'm making a comeback to making videos, and then I'll never make another one for another like 6 months or something, so that's what happens. And it's always the winter, or whatever season this is currently. Autumn? Yeah, it's always the darker half of the year where I feel like making stuff like this again, and I don't know why that is. It's interesting. I mean, it's interesting to me. I don't know why it's interesting to you. You probably couldn't give a crap. But yeah, so I'm making my tea. I'm having pumpkin curry. That the curry sauce was made by my mum, which I brought home from her house last weekend. And then I filled it with roast vegetables, like aubergine, chickpeas, some kale, carrots, maybe something else, but I can't remember. So I'm just heating that up, but I'm making some rice to go with it. Have I made a video since Ryan and I got engaged? I can't remember. Ryan proposed to me in like March? I can't remember. Earlier in the year, Ryan proposed to me, and I said yes, which is exciting. And I guess it's interesting to note that I'm still not actually quite divorced yet, but it's very imminent. It should happen soon. It's nearly at the end, so that's another chapter of my life to officially close, which is nice. In this past sort of like year, maybe like ages ago, I got this like other job at work where I basically like got promoted to like a more senior level role, and it just didn't really work out for me. It wasn't for me, and I asked to make it a secondment when I accepted the role, and which lucky for me was the right thing, because it just didn't work out. It wasn't the right role for me, so I went back to my old job, but then we rewrote my old job, and now my job's like even more specific to what I actually do, which is, make videos for a living. So now I do that much more specifically, and the team's changed as well, and we're now very much like an agency style type thing, and we like work like to a brief and stuff, and it's really like it's all working out really well. I ran a half marathon last year, and I ran a half marathon this year in 2022, which I never thought I'd ever do something like that ever. My life's completely changed in what is really like a short period of time, I suppose. It's been like 3 years, and everything's just totally different. Sorry, it's very dark. I'm just going around switching on the lights, the lamps and stuff. The Christmas tree is up because it is early November, and as you may all know, I put my tree up very early because it brings me joy, and I don't care what anyone thinks of it. I'm sick of caring what anyone thinks of it. I do hate the comments when I get people saying, it's too soon, you're ridiculous. You know what I say to you people? I say, shove it. Because it's not your life, it's mine, and I'm not forcing you to put up your Christmas tree by putting up my Christmas tree, so just, why are people gotta be mean? I feel like the need to show you what I'm eating, considering I showed you me starting to make it. So this is the curry. I put a little bit of yogurt on the top and some seeds with some whole grain rice, and yeah, it can be really tasty. So I'm gonna watch some more of Shane Dawson's latest video and just chill, really, just chill. I recently was like, kind of going through my Instagram, my YouTube and what have you, and I was just sort of like looking back at like the videos that I was making, like really with Ryan in the past couple of years, and because I did like Vlogmas twice, which was kind of the main part of the year when I was like making stuff, and I just love those like videos, because partly they're just like, they're a little creative thing, and sometimes I like kind of bake things, and I made stuff, or I made like interesting little like kind of videos out of like things that we were doing, but also they were capturing like memories, and I actually like, I remembered why I continued making videos in the first place, even though all this stuff doesn't really like go anywhere. It's like, that's not really what I guess it was ever about. But I do miss that I'm like not capturing like memories in that like video way, because it's a bit like home movies, I suppose, in a sense, because that is essentially what they are, isn't it? They're like, just like a kind of documenting of your life. So I do miss that. But yeah, there's just like, I just feel really kind of like reflecty right now, and I think me and Ryan were chatting about stuff last night because we couldn't sleep. We were in bed, but we just couldn't seem to sleep, so we were awake till quite late, and we're just chatting about life and stuff, and I was just like kind of saying to him that like, now that I have achieved a level of like, like calm and happiness, it's only now that I realized that previously in my life I didn't actually have that calm and happiness, and I think I thought that I did, and I thought I was content, but I think you only know what you know. I realize now that I kind of wasn't calm and I wasn't happy, and I kept looking for reasons as to why that might be at the time, when I thought that there was something like wrong with me or whatever. But it turns out that actually, like, what, I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm perfectly stable as a person. It was just that the life I was leading wasn't correct, it wasn't right for me. And I think until you're out of it, you don't really know. So yeah, I just feel quite, like I say, quite reflectical, just making up words. But yeah, so many things. Like I was saying, like I've run these half marathons. I run like 3 times a week now, just like as a standard. I mean, I never thought in my entire life that I would exercise, because I've never exercised. In a way, I feel like the
the last couple of years with all these lockdowns because of the pandemic, I feel like I really like had a period of like self-discovery and like found myself and found a contentment and a happiness that I didn't previously have. And obviously I found Ryan, which happened incredibly soon, you know, into the like when the change in my life started, and I just went with it. And it was a risk, and it was a real risk for Ryan as well, especially, but it's paid off because, and I know people say this all the time, they really do, but I've genuinely never ever been so calm, content, and just happy. Like I feel genuine happiness and contentment in my life, in my self, you know, in my existence in this world. I know it sounds very dramatic to say, but I just am. Anyway, I had this random thought the other day, and I'm almost certainly not ever going to act upon it, but it was just this thought that popped into my head, and I was like, because this is the time of year when, you know, there's a lot of like celebrities releasing like autobiographies and things like that. And I said this to Ryan the other day, I was like, you know what? Celebrities become famous for whatever reasons, and then they write like a story of their life. And I actually think that, like, you know, we are led to, or we'll have to think, you know, that these famous people's lives are super interesting and we only want to read about them because they're celebrities. But you know what? Someone should write a biography like of themselves as a normal person, just a normal person. It like could literally be called A Normal Person's Autobiography by a normal person.
This goes against everything in my nature, but okay.
Because to be honest, my life, whilst incredibly like normal and mundane, to be fair, is probably full of quite entertaining stories of all sorts of things that have happened ever since I was a kid. And like, I could totally write that shit. And like, it would be interesting. I feel like I'd be interested to read about a normal person's life. That's why way back in the mists of time when like vlogging was becoming a thing, I think that was initially what people's interests were. It was like an insight into like normal people's lives that like we were getting on the internet. But then obviously those people became celebrities and were just put on the same like pedestals as like anybody else who's a celebrity, and then their videos became much more extravagant and changed, and the things that they were doing and they were showing became much more extravagant, and then that's why it led to people being like, I want to be a vlogger.
Not another one?
Maybe my new task is I'm going to write my autobiography. It's going to be published. It's going to, you know, intrigue everyone because it's going to be me in my normal life. But maybe I should use like an alias so that like I don't have to deal with like anything if it was a success. That is another thing that I've definitely come to terms with, is that I was so hung up in previously in my life. I was so hung up on like meeting the goals and expectations of like life, of like the things that you're supposed to do, the things you're supposed to have, the job you're meant to have and the career you're meant to pursue and blah, blah, blah. And actually I've come to realize that like there's a lot of those things that I either don't want at all, or I'm actually completely content with if I don't have them. And if I don't have them, it doesn't mean I failed at life. It just means I didn't have like one of those things that like everybody else has, or made of those achievements. Do you know what I mean? Because life is what you make it at the end of the day, and as long as you're happy and you're enjoying yourself, you know, and you are content. I keep using the word content, but I think that's a key theme that I have in my like head now about like being content in myself and who I am and in my life. Oh my god, what is this video about? Listen to me. But it's true though. It totally is true. Life goes. I'm just sick of it. And like I actually stopped giving a shit. You know, occasionally those feelings do creep in and the intrusive voice is in there and it's like, oh, you should do this, you should have done this, you should do this. But then actually, I kind of actually take a breath and like I do some like mindfulness. I'm really into yoga as well. And also running is a mindful like practice for me because I get lost in my own like thoughts and I really process and work through things, whether it be something that I'm struggling with at work, something just I'm thinking about in life generally, a recipe I've been trying to like faff with because I like cook all the time. And yeah, it's a real time of like mindfulness, and I take a step back and I think about it and I'm like, actually, I need to stop stressing about that because who gives a shit? I am actually super happy and everything's okay and life is great. Great sounds very over the top. Life is great. My life's so great. That's not really what I mean. Like life is just life, isn't it? But like you know, I'm talking about comparisons here from like what I used to like experience in life and the sort of chaos that my life felt like, which is gone. And that's where I kind of come from when I maybe like blurt out the phrase life is great. Maybe I'm making sense.
Penny, no.
Anyway, I'm not really sure why I decided to make this little video tonight, but I just felt like having a bit of a chat. It's good to process thoughts, and I've always, you know, used this medium to do that, and some people have listened and been intrigued by it. But really, I think, like I said earlier on, it's more of a documenting of things for me, really, so I can go back and I can look back over these things, and a lot of the time it is me just chatting, and I'm able to like go back and observe what my thoughts were. And it's quite helpful, it's quite useful, it's quite reflective. And I think looking back on the older videos, and I see that what's going on there is always is not necessarily always genuine. Whereas I kind of hope and feel like I'm more genuine in myself now. I feel like I am, because I don't feel like I'm pretending or trying to live up to anyone else's expectations other than my own. You know, like I said, life is what you make it, and that's just that. Blah. Anyway, I'm going to stop this here because I'm rambling on. But what I think I would like to do is get back to documenting my life every now and again. Not all the time. I'm not going to do it all the time because that's really like weird and also sometimes intrusive to other people especially. But when we do stuff, I'm going to try to do it more and just not stress about, you know, what goes into it. In a sense, I know what I mean. We'll see if it actually comes off. But anyway, if you watched this far, then well done. You're committed. I commend thee. And that is all I have to say. I didn't say oh hi there at the beginning of this. That's like my thing, isn't it? My thing. But I'll say what I say at the end of all my kind of videos, which is thanks very much for watching. Okay, I love you. Goodbye.